read her message today. Hi Sue, it is Susan Hughes, and I am meeting with Nick right now. We tried to call Ted, and Ted's not available. He's out on vacation until Monday. But I wanted to call you and see if you were available to join us. Nick hasn't probably said 2 words yet. He's kind of waiting to see if other people are joining us, and then we're going to decide if he wants to meet today or if he wants to make another choice. So I'm just checking my email to see if you left me a different number, but if you want to call us back, we're at 541-963-4113, extension 239. Thanks, Sue. That phone number is wrong. So it did say, I'm in a meeting at the moment, but you can, but can call you when I'm done. Let me know if Nick arrives. So let me just reply to this. I'm not very good at texting stuff. Where's it? I'm taking a minute. So I'm writing, yes, Nick is here. Now I'm going to send it. That's the one. Look at this. Okay, looks like it now. Okay. So the question is,
what's new?
Yeah, what do we want to do? Do we want to? It's up to you. Do you want to visit?
Come back up here again.
What's that?
Can't afford to come back up here again. So, what's new on you guys' side?
What do you mean by can't afford to come up here again?
I can only afford so much fuel. You know, fuel costs a lot.
Fuel, okay. I was wondering if you meant something else by that. I was just checking.
Like what?
Well, if you just felt like you couldn't afford it because you were not wanting to talk to us, I think I was just wanting to clarify. So, can I ask if you ever heard from Tony at the Fine Day? Because the last I talked to him, he was I was trying to get him to call you to set up an interview. When did that happen with that?
I have a home care provider number.
Yeah. And that's your preference. I know that's what you want to do. But did you not ever hear from Tony? Okay. Because I had trouble getting a hold of him after I talked to him the first time. I left about 3 messages, and I just wondered if he contacted you for an interview, and if you still wanted that, if it was an option, if it was still available.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
If I'm going to stand on my knees, I might as well make more than that place ever pays. You get medical with home care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a big benefit. Nick, I tried to call you a whole bunch of times, and I'm sorry if I'm not calling you the right way. I can't figure out your phone.
Just send an email. Emails get through.
So, like I just did, I am not good at. So when
you can do it with a keyboard, a computer. You can
and it'll go to your phone. Okay.
Yeah.
I know. I kept trying to call your phone and leave a message, and I couldn't tell.
It doesn't like to let me answer calls. It doesn't like to call back, and then power outage.
Yeah. Goofed everything out.
Yeah. I'm still paying for HUD, so there is no other phone line because that costs money.
So I was so excited when Michelle said that you had actually kind of done some job search on your own and found an opportunity to interview. I mean, can you tell me how that all came about? Because we were really involved in this. Yeah, you did it on your own.
Back in the day when I met Alan McCandless, it's the same thing you said. Survival job. That's what he called it. All of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I actually can afford to buy a computer, I can apply for jobs off the internet without having to move. Instead of the old days where Alan made you walk 30 some odd miles all around everywhere. So that's where all my cartilage and my knees went. Huge waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
So, Burger King over here on Adams, next to that freeway, is owned by the person who owns the Flying J.
Yeah, I didn't know that before.
Yeah.
You're the one that told me that. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I would never apply for, I mean, they have a huge turnover rate, I don't know why. I know people who work there. They treat their employees really bad. It's well known. And if you go to the employment department, they're, you know, when an employment department employee whispers you don't want to do this because they know how bad the place is, they really do not want to refer someone there, not unless it's, I mean, you sure, man, you know.
Really?
And as far as
I eat out there.
well, you know what?
Should I not eat out?
I know. Can I ask you something? Because I think you're the one that told me, he approached you, right, about a possible position at Flying J, is that correct?
Yeah, you left a message.
You left a message of you?
Yeah, I can't access it because it's on that phone, it's in that app, and there is no way to extract messages. And with my phone, I can't afford to work. I can't join networks and do it.
So if we want to call you and have you call us back, how do we do that?
Have I talked to you on the phone before?
Yeah, you sure have.
What's the quality like?
Pretty bad, huh? I can only hear about every fourth word you were saying.
And I have to talk just like this, and try not to say S's or G's or any certain letters.
Why? What's happening there, Nick?
Because it's a phone line over Wi-Fi, which is voice over IP, so VoIP. Have you ever heard of that? That's what that actually means.
I never knew what it meant.
And so wherever you're within a Wi-Fi, like, you know how bigger cities installed Wi-Fi throughout their downtown and a lot of their neighborhoods going each direction? That's another reason why. That, and you can track anyone with a Wi-Fi signal walking around.
Okay.
Not just
is
cell phone
ATV?
towers, but it's any modem you happen to walk by that's firing a Wi-Fi signal.
Okay.
If you walk by Nikola Tesla statue, they can track you right there because that's a big, huge Wi-Fi amplifier.
I see. So if you're not close to it, a Wi-Fi,
You don't, I
then you
mean,
don't get the
yeah.
good connection.
But
Okay.
how
Well, no,
is
no, no, no.
ATV can contact
If
you
you-
if they have a
no.
job?
Oh.
If you happen to be at a Wi-Fi, stronger the signal, you know, like, let's say if you're paying for like just I want the internet, but I don't need like $100 of internet a month. Then you get the
Right.
and then if you have like $100, you know, internet,
Yeah.
it's like being next to a cell phone tower.
Yeah. So I think Susan had a really good question just a second ago, and I interrupted.
So,
Well, I interrupted because I'm so curious about my own questions, and I'm not sure I understood what all you guys were talking about.
cell phones are
Okay.
are more advanced. Basically, the VoIP is you have your cell phone signal where you used to have that antenna. Well, now that antenna can accept signals from the internet to transfer
But
your
if
voice
ATV calls you about a personal care job, how are they going to get you?
because they use internet. Every person looking for a caregiver, they don't list their phone number, they list their internet address.
An email address?
Yes.
Oh.
So
If
do
the
that.
client wants to ride, how do they reach you? They have to have a computer?
No, you can. A lot of the clients use smartphones.
What if they don't?
Yeah. Well, here's the
I don't
thing.
think
Here's
you're
the
ever
thing.
going to get
Here's
a
the thing.
job
Hold on.
offer if
Here's
you
the
don't
thing.
have a phone.
Here's another thing. Also, if you take a regular cell phone that can text message, instead instead of putting a cell phone number, put the email address. And these are the older Cellular One, Verizon, the older phones. You could send a text message to an email address.
Yeah, I know we do that in some situations, but how are you gonna find work out? It just seems so complicated.
Not really. I mean, all the contacts in the home care worker use email addresses. They clearly send emails. When you read through their profile, very seldomly you will see one with his phone number and need. But all of them are all email addresses. And I can send emails from McDonald's.
Do you have a way to maintain a phone if you got a phone there?
Like a different phone?
Like, is your phone, do you have a phone or do you just have a computer?
No, I have a phone. It's an iPhone. I just don't buy a $45 phone card because I'm paying for the stalker. That citation that you got a copy of,
So what's a phone card?
You ever heard
So
of
the
Track
reason-
Phone?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have Straight Talk. It's the same thing. You go to Walmart, you buy a little phone card.
And you
Not
put
the
it in
one,
there?
not the one with all the Mexican imagery from Mexico, because those cards are worth, they cost too much. But that's not the plan I'm on. I'm
Does
on
it
Straight
give
Talk.
you minutes, Nick? Is that what you're buying when you buy the card? Are you buying like a certain number of minutes to use on your phone?
No, I buy a card. It's a $45 unlimited. Yeah, and see, all the only calls I get are every now and again from, and then I'm spending $45 just to basically wait 3 hours for a cop to show up when they've been known to show up in 5 minutes whenever the other crazy makes a call. And then I have to go through all that with them. Just
So it's not your phone that's the issue, it's the actual connection, it's the actual
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi that's
Yeah.
the issue.
Yeah, my phone is fine.
Your phone looks
It's
like
it's inside of an Otter case. You know, if I take it out of that hard case, it's brand new. I just really don't like touching my phone with my ear.
And have you had any calls to work from APD this last month?
Why would I get calls from them?
Yeah, because you're on the list.
You're on their vendor list.
Why would I get calls from them when I don't have certifications to even email these people? The individual clients, when we took a look through that whole home care worker homepage, when I logged in, in fact when Fran was here, we couldn't really look at the names of who they were looking for, but I showed you how these people have preference, either it's a male or female home care worker or no preference, whether they smoke or not. And then there's that list of all those, you know, certifications that they want, you know, that they're looking for in their worker.
But you're already on there as a vendor.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be hired because I have only the home care provider number and the home care choice number. I don't have taking care of, you know, taking responsibility in personal injury, none of this. None of these classes that I've been going over month after month after month trying to get some kind of plan thrown together so I can at least try to attend these classes. Let alone, I don't know the schedule for these classes or where their locations take place.
How many do you need? How many classes do you need?
At the way it looks with a lot of these people, anywhere from 4 to 5 classes. But the thing is a lot of the classes happen, you know, in a lot of these cities, they happen all within that 1 week. You know, not the same, you know, not in 1 week, but a lot of classes happen in just a straight row, like day after day after day, there's a class. And you can get all these certifications.
But you can be called right now for somebody that needs transportation or, I don't know, medicated.
But the thing is if they need transportation, they're still going to be looking for somebody who has all these certifications. And as far as anyone looking for just transportation, I've already looked for that, just to see if there's anyone looking for just for transportation. And you have to have, when you look at just for transportation, you still have to have all those certifications and visited all those classes.
Is that what, I mean, were you told that for sure? Do you know that you need all that to be able to?
Because that's what the word preference means.
Preference but not required.
And then there's that row that says required, and then that list is even longer.
Oh, okay.
You know, and it depends. Some have a preferred list that's huge, and some have a little small required list, and then others have this list that just, you can't even tell where the word required or preference is.
I see.
And that's the thing. So, I know you're new to this, but she knows it already.
Well, and I'm kind of following along.
So yeah, and you know,
But last time you signed on and showed us the stuff online.
and then I even showed you how, because
I'm
whenever
amazed
they,
that
whenever
you
they,
sign on it.
whenever they do release a newsletter, the newsletter lists all the classes, where the classes are happening, because the classes are not all spelled out for what they actually
And
mean. They
they're-
have little acronyms, they have a little thing that tells you what the little acronyms mean, and
And they're free.
then they're free. But if you get like if you do gain some hours working, you get paid to be at them. So yeah, it's one of those. If you go to Portland, you take over because they happen to happen there. Some happen in John Day. There's a couple that happen between Pendleton and Hermiston. And once every other year, every 2 years, LeGrand. They happen in Ontario. Nothing so much really happens in Baker.
So, what, did you bring that subject again?
And wait a minute.
The first
Hold on.
class?
Yeah, I've done it every single month up until right now as I sit in this seat. Do I have that stuff written down? They don't have a new newsletter.
Did you newsletter out?
Otherwise, I would have looked for e-classes and all that stuff, and I would have sent an email of the PDF.
Well, what do you want to talk about today, Nick?
I'm good. I'm actually, I gotta go and let my girls out because they've been in their kennel while I've been doing stuff with HUD.
What's going on with that?
Stuff.
About your desire to move to Portland, right? Or Salem, or Eugene?
No, just the usual, We
Conflict?
got tenants who like to use words and do things and offer to shoot people, Same old, same old. They all got their apartments still.
And can we look for anything? You're not looking for any other kind of work except home care work?
I qualify as a home care worker, and with all the
We were just,
stuff
we
that
were just saying, let us help you with the cooking thing.
I bet you
or
would, but
cook
why would I, and let alone greasy, smelly air and standing on these knees and getting paid jack shit,
I don't know.
and then not making any money towards actually doing anything, and then more of this area? No. Did like how you jumped on that.
What's that?
That was kind of funny.
What?
That we jumped on it, yeah, I was
The
excited.
whole-
I
Oh,
just
the Flying J?
Yeah.
Well, we jumped on it because
'Cause that and-
you brought it to us, Nick.
Yeah, but
We didn't-
that was your suggestion to go look for a survival job, and
Yeah.
it was kind of a,
We're trying to
Alan
help.
Alan pulled this stunt, and no, this is not an area to be living in. This is not my home. I'm from California. I'm okay with living in Portland over this place. I'm entirely too stressed out to be
So why
here.
do we help you get out of here then? I mean, it's
Well-
like you need some travel money.
No, it's not really. I mean, it could be that, or it could be get these trainings done, and then who knows? I mean, even with porting Section 8.
Well,
But, you
I
know,
want you to know though that the reason we were talking about a survival job was pretty much what Susan's saying, just to give you some money so that you could have a security net, a safety net, so you can move to where you want to be.
so whose idea was the safety net?
Well, we're trying to brainstorm with
I
you.
mean, aside from the part where, like I said, you're new to this, but upon moving to this town, which basically was the same kind of escaping, fleeing for your life thing, plus up until this year, the whole job searching and all that stuff, and plus, just that whole past thing, and, when an employer looks at your resume and they go, we can get a hold of the employment department and see what kind of employee you are, and see why your job was resolved. And then they hear that stuff and they're just like, shit. In all those
The other
years.
thing we talked about, that I'm remembering that we talked about last time was Flower Lodge.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a CNA
They
job.
have caregivers there.
Yeah, but those are CNA.
Oh, they don't offer any other positions?
No, what is it, CNA job?
Well, that's okay, but.
I'll send you
it's
the,
your mobility problem,
I'll send
I think.
you the screenshot of their whole, you gotta be a CNA.
Okay.
Yeah, all their jobs are CNA.
All right. You looked into it after we talked last time.
How do you think Flying J called me? Because I applied for a job at Burger King.
Right.
Yeah, because you guys had Denny's and some other fast food things, and then Wildfire Lodge, and then volunteer, whatever transport.
So did you want the job at Burger King? Or you were just thinking, okay, I gotta do something, what happened?
It was more like when Alan pulled this stunt, I ended up at McDonald's. I got fired because I didn't want to be called Nigger Nick. Like I really want to, like I really want to stay in Eastern Oregon. So, survival job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I know you don't like the word survival job. I know.
No, it's not. I like survival. When people say hi, how are you doing? I say I'm surviving. I almost got that on a hat.
Well, you know.
The guy actually had the whole embroidery thing himself, and he was doing everyone's shirts, and I was like, all right. I instead had my dog's name written on there because I wanted to say a whole lot of other things. And then Rick and Morty because I love the
What's
show.
your dog's name? Don't want to say it?
No, it's Holly and Lore.
Oh,
But-
that's not bad. I thought it would be something like,
No,
you know.
no.
Something
I used to know a lot of dogs named Roach. It's like, really? Really, are you gonna name your dog Roach?
That's an odd name for a dog.
It's okay. There's a winter dog named Caterpillar.
Caterpillar Roach.
It just wiggles around. It's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah.
So then our job is to help you kind of get into plan and find employment. You have registered on that home cares list.
And yet we're not getting into plan on that.
Well,
I think I've asked that every single meeting. Except for that first time with her. That was funny. The face she had, survival job, we were happy about it. Anyways.
Well, I'm trying
I
to be
mean, we can put you into plan for that, but then we just sit and wait. You're already on the list. Right?
See, that's kind of the
No.
dilemma we're in right now, because we're,
And are you really gonna get, I mean,
So
call on that phone? We gotta figure out your phone.
no talk about, getting the certification so I can improve my odds of, being able to email one of these clients and then get I'd like you to interview. Because you're certified and all this stuff.
So is what you're asking us to do to send you out of town for some of these trainings? Is that what you want?
Send me to wherever the training is. I mean,
So usually when we do training, you do have to show that you have valid job offers at the end of the.
And with
Your
all the
thing has
people,
been,
and
I
with,
wanna relocate, right?
yeah, but see, here's the thing, when you do have the certifications, and you do get a, prospective client who does, if they hire you, then all right, then you move forward. And you're talking about moving out there, and on top of the whole, yes, the Section 8 will be ported because I already know how to do that. Finding a home with enough money in America with cash, let alone Portland has the effect of, you draw the little radius circles on it to a bullseye, that's how much rent goes up to, and then radiating out, it goes down to, yeah, so as far as finding a home goes and finding a job, it's all about getting the trainings in. And since every single meeting has been the same, history followed by this whole talk of the home care worker thing, the training, I mean, that's why I'm like, it's called head and all them people, because this is annoying. And as far as, me, how much do I have to go out there with the Social Security that I have left? I've got less than maybe 50. And that's the money that I don't spend on my cell phone is the money I spend on my food.
At the end of the month.
And then I have $0 left. Because guess what Social Security is? It is actually called survival pay. Yeah, and if you read up on Social Security's website, they go into it all over the place about how it is survival to meet basic needs, food, housing, but,
Sure.
if you get DI, if you can get the other one, so you put them together, then you get about $4,000, which you can do all kinds of mysterious things. There's a lady who lives in the building who had a heart attack, so she's all crinkled up. New car every other year.
What,
Tamarack. And there's,
Oh, in your apartment?
it's amazing. It's amazing. She drives. I mean, you know what a heart attack does to a person. Whole size of their body will, yeah. She's had more than one. She's had a whole bunch of them.
Nick, there is a conversation that I would like to just kind of put out there on the table, and it's a hard conversation for me to have with you because I know that you're not going to like just hear what I have to say, but I'd like to talk to you a little bit about sort of your experience that you are struggling with post-traumatic stress.
Duh.
I know.
And you're not qualified to even go there. You don't have that license. But
Well,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. With post-traumatic stress,
I am qualified.
real triggers.
I am qualified to go there. So, and so I want to put the conversation out there because one of the struggles that I have in trying to help Michelle to be able to work with you is I feel like that's part of what gets in the way of your ability to trust. I mean, I think there's
No, it's not, there's no PTSD factor in what actually is happening, what is actually being reported, let alone recorded.
Oh, I'm not
So,
talking about that. I'm talking about employment.
and as
Right.
far as employment things goes, one, being in this area, and that's not a PTSD event, that's an actual real thing. This is every day when I go out here, and then having to repeat this every single month at this kind of meeting, in which you said that before. You did the PTSD speech last time.
Did we bring that up? Because-
Fran,
because-
with Fran.
Because,
Yeah, you tried talking me into going to CHD, like,
Because
what do you go to CHD for when I can just go to Portland?
well, we know that's a huge factor.
And that's not really a huge factor as far as trusting goes. It's just I don't like it here. I've had enough with this area. And to be forced to once again have to endure another speech about trusting or giving another chance with 15 years of my life. That's not a PTSD event. I'm sick and tired of every year in this area. And why the hell do we have to repeat this every single month?
But, what counseling would do is it would give you a strategy or a coping skill when people make derogatory comments at work.
And apparently, it seems like I haven't. I mean, come on now. I had to buy a GoPro. I think I'm coping pretty well. I mean, I haven't been arrested. Haven't you noticed that? Have not been arrested. So apparently I'm coping pretty well. But as far as staying in this area some more, no. So why are we having this conversation again when I've said no all the other times? About your PTSD, CHD-like speech where you're trying to introduce coping mechanisms that, yeah, I got those. In fact, I got two dogs, service dogs. Yeah, and they actually like being hugged, which is really, scientists say dogs don't like being hugged. And my dogs, they have to disturb me when I'm in the supine position. They have to have their hugs. I don't know what's going on with them.
I have no doubt you've developed good coping skills,
So,
but I think
yeah, as far as giving them why are we even, let alone the part where before 2010, when I reported all of those attacks to my various DHS social workers, and and then also the whole surgery and hospitalization thing happened. There were times where I found out that the little bus runs from Baker to here, but then you're stuck here all day. This is before. This is before Baker City found out I got my provisional practice permit. When I got my actual driver's license, then that's when all hell broke loose and they started vandalizing the shit out of that vehicle. That truck, because of all the vandalism and all that stuff and having to deal with the cops and file insurance claims, cost me a fortune. If it wasn't for the swastikas and brake lines, seriously, the thing's a death trap. And then to be told, oh, you come out there in the middle of the night, like, no, I don't. I've got to be up. early in the morning to drive to LeGrand to try to get a job to get away from you guys. Because I can't afford to go anywhere. Because I have to spend all my money on a rent that continues to increase. Just to find out she's running a meth lab. And they have to go to court, that costs money. And, 2010 was a bad year, on top of coming out here all the time, because Alan was trying to do the survival job thing again, which, by the way, the skinheads that attacked me used to show up to my job regularly. And as far as working out here goes, why? I go through the same thing out here. I mean, when I came here and met with the first worker, I reported to her that there are people from Baker, and not only that, but their friends that they would hang out here would engage in that stuff. On top of it, I live at that apartment from day one. And now as far as hanging out and wanting to work here some more, why? I didn't intend in staying here 15 fucking years. And that's where the curse word comes in, because, yeah, I mean, you have to put that in there, because, I mean, as far as attitude goes, the old me would have used that word. And that's a homage. Curse
So
word.
can I ask, because I'm hearing two different messages from you. So hear me out. I'm hearing you would like VR's help in putting you in plan for a personal care assistant, but then I'm also hearing on the flip side, you don't even want to be in this area looking for work. So
Yeah.
I'm
And
kind of
Susan's
feeling
mentioned
like-
the whole, there is a bias in this on the first video, where we were talking about the Wildfire Lodge, and you're like, yeah, there's a lot of older people there who were raised, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And there are people
Yeah.
who, throughout Oregon, like if you go on Facebook, I could probably screen cap the whole entire conversation. There are people who know about this area, and they would highly not recommend being here.
So
And this is a conversation by random people throughout Oregon who can tell you what each city is like, and then when it comes to Eastern Oregon, oh my God, and I would recommend you not even, I mean, it's very real what goes on there. And then there's documentation on the area.
Shameful that happens to people.
I mean, and here's the thing, I'm not the only one, but I've been through similar things. There was a guy who tried to become an officer out here, and he went through a lot, and this is from other cops who he was trying to become colleagues with. He ended up leaving that area immediately. And that's and the worst part is the newspaper that circulates in LeGrand and Baker, you will only read this newspaper in Washington. And this is before you find out that if you look at where that paper in Washington got its information from, it's been deleted from this area.
Well, I'm just going to say this for whatever it's worth. I can't pretend to know what you've been through and what it's like for you to be an African-American man in this part of this state.
And to know that the VR program, just like DHS, assists people who are having problems with people doing this kind of stuff that I've been reporting this whole entire time, and not making up, actually telling the truth, gaining actual proof from police, newspaper, and now I'm having to be forced to shoot videos. And this is what's going on, and yet I'm being talked to about every meeting that I come up here just about, into staying here. I don't want to be here. I'm tired of being one of 6 black people. I mean, on top of, I mean, you can't go out anywhere. You can't go out anywhere in this town. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do, aside from Walmart or maybe Safeway. And even then, you're cutting it close. I don't want to be here. I'm tired of hearing about here. And as far as VR goes, you guys' program does assist people with things like this, including training, especially if training is required for the job, to be, more, employable to the job. And still, to be asked to take something like Flying J, which, I mean, it doesn't offer any benefits, not only that, but it raises my rent to the point where I'm not making anything, and I lose my food stamp benefits, which I only get like maybe $90, and once again, I'm still here.
Go to VR page and come back when you find a local training. I mean, the trainings are free. You can do the trainings on your
Yeah,
own.
of course I could, but it's the real trainings that take place in other areas that I need the assistance for. The ones I can't afford to
As
go.
long as you want VR to send you to some of these preferred trainings outside the area. And
That's
then
what I was hoping.
And then,
Like I said,
where's the job offer at the end of the road? Is it in Portland? And I'm not talking about a specific individual, I'm talking about the location.
it could be Portland. I mean, there shouldn't be nothing wrong with me wanting to pursue Portland, just like I tried to pursue Portland all these years ago and got talked into all these horrible jobs surrounded by horrible people.
There's nothing wrong with you pursuing Portland, but we're trying to figure out where can be our, what is our
And
role?
as far as getting there goes, I mean, as far as getting, you know, you guys have a Facebook page. Did you guys know that? Sometimes you guys advertise how you help people get houses and stuff. And here's the thing. I have to come here in August. This is like 5 months after the whole, you got a copy of my provider number, and we have to have this talk yet again. And this whole question and answer about, well, how good is the plan about moving down there in the housing situation? Like, do you have it planned out? Like, no, I'm going to live in a cardboard box 2 blocks away, shower at the guy's house, do my job, then go back home 2 blocks away and let my dogs out.
So,
Clearly, I could, you know, find a home if I'm going to get a paycheck, let alone if I'm moving out of this HUD apartment. The money that would have been rent for them is transferred to a new place. But even then, to even transfer your Section 8, you have to go to an orientation, apparently. And while you're down,
For your Section 8.
for your Section 8 to be
Have you
valid.
done that yet?
Why?
Oh, you have to go
I have
to
to-
the place
I have
you
to-
want to be.
Yep,
Oh.
yep. And here's the thing. You want to apply to a place that has openings. And guess who has who has openings?
Nobody?
No, the waiting list is called an opening.
The what?
The waiting list is their opening.
Oh.
If the waiting list is closed, they're not accepting any applications. It could be 3 years. But if the wait list is open, there
you
are
know
places.
it's open right now?
That's why I've been saying Portland all this time.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
don't-
yeah,
don't
it's
understand
Portland.
all that as well.
Yeah, it's Portland. It's
And
always
what else
open.
do you have to get to orientation? Does HUD help you with that? Because that's not a VR.
Why? What in the hell? Why would HUD?
Help you with that?
Yeah. Why would you ask that? I mean, when you know.
I think your question's good though, because I don't understand that.
No. The only thing HUD does is port your paperwork. So yeah, why would they pay to send
Well,
you?
because
I mean-
you've appealed it a number of times and said you're being discriminated against. and
I didn't have to appeal it. I've been sending, you know, copies of the little paperwork and stuff, and they've been sending me to call this person, or call that person, or call this person, or email that person. And now the video of me having a talk with one of the managers, like, do you guys know you're participating in this? And it's the manager that's told me the most, if you don't like what's going on, then pack your shit and move. So me and her have a meeting. My buddy GoPro's there, and this is the first time, you know, it's a GoPro. Because every other time I came down there to ask for help regarding stuff going on, pack your shit and move if you don't like what's going on.
That's the answer you've been getting.
That's the answer I've always gotten.
How many places do you think you need to be employable?
We've asked that question already. It could
And
be,
what was
it could
the
be,
answer? Three?
it could be any number. It could be 3, it could be 2. You can add, you can name lottery numbers right now.
And when are you gonna move to Portland?
Probably either get the job or just abandon my apartment, like I said in the email, because what's the point? I'm wasting gas coming up here, and the amount of gas that I waste driving up here, I can just transfer it down there. That's why, I mean, how come I can't get a plan for that? Well, we can get a plan for any fast food job, let alone Flying J. When, I mean-
Can I turn it around and ask you if you understand why we're in a stuck position, why we can't move forward with helping you?
What's
Do
going
you
on?
understand why we can't?
Probably because there's no plan established that talks about the whole goal lining and getting the
Why
goal.
can't we write the plan though?
And I don't know, because I've asked her that a whole lot of times, and so far I've gotten,
I think that's where we're getting stuck. I think
I mean-
that's the disconnect right there.
and I've asked about that several times, and you're new to this whole disconnect thing.
Yes.
This is August once again. This is probably like my
Well, when I
6
think about
times.
the answer to that, I think
I mean,
there's
because
so
like I
many
said,
goals.
we went through this whole thing where, yeah, the training, the individual training classes are a goal.
So the.
I mean, aside
because we're
from,
an employment service though, right? We provide employment. Our plan with you has to be related to a job at the end of that.
and that's the question is why are we in the plan? Because this is relating to a job at the end of that. And yet, we can't draw up a plan to try to get to this job so that I can email a bunch of clients, but can't.
Have you already done
Why would I email clients who all require certifications that I do not have?
that? So,
I can't email-
what certification are you trying to get first?
I don't
What's your
have,
top priority?
I don't have a computer screen in front of me to look at this stuff and then say, hey, and, you know, aside from,
That you picked the 3 most important trainings to get you employed. You picked out the 3 most important trainings, and then I also said you
as a matter of
have.
fact, wait a minute, hold on. I actually did write that down. I know it's end of life, something about diabetes, and, yeah,
I wrote that because I thought you wanted to write on something.
and you got notes, friends made notes about it already. PDT, which I don't know what that means right now, let's see.
What was the acronym?
PDT. And then there's respiratory care, RC, end of life pops up a lot, diabetes by the numbers, durable medical equipment, medication safety, trips, those are the ones that pop up a lot aside from if you happen to take those classes that I just named, which is the trips, PDT, and the other one that starts with a P.
PDT, I wonder what that is. PDT.
Yeah, PDT. If you happen to take that, if you happen to take, no, if you happen to take that class, instead of having to pay for the CPR class, which actually costs you, you can get in for free once you take. Yeah, and you have a certain number of classes.
So this is a prerequisite.
It's CPR, and a lot of places tend to have CPR preferences on there. Aside from the whole male, female, you know, and
CPR would make sense.
yeah, and so a lot of the early ones, and this is the thing, is when I mention this, I don't even have the data. I have the data when the classes are going to happen, when these classes are supposed to happen. This list is from May, and then this one is, so I got May, I think I got another one. I've been writing so much stuff on this. Now I have one from, should I have one from after that, written on one of them. Yes. Yeah, oh, look at that.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
One of the services I offer.
oh, let's see, and then, I
Not an appropriate word.
don't know, I own a lot of clothes that I don't wear out here. I had too many clothes destroyed.
Do you happen to know, if you can recall, how often they offer these classes around different towns or cities?
Every month.
Every month?
Every month
Okay.
on the western side.
Yeah.
Now, there's a class happening I don't know when it's happening because they keep listing TBA.
And then we talked about you going all the way down to Sunday.
I mean, they happen.
Which is part of that PTSD stuff, which is
Why?
where
I mean,
we
and
have to say to you, it's our responsibility to say, you need support. You need, you know,
To get the
have
hell
a
away from this,
counselor
to get away from this
and to-
area.
yeah.
And why do we keep
And
rolling back to
the
this?
counseling support to live in
You
the community.
trying to say that, I mean, you're trying to give reasons to stay in this area, no.
No,
And as
I'm
far as
trying
PTSD
to-
goes, No,
help you with
I'm
coping.
stressed out, and
Yeah.
as far as coping with it goes, I live with it every day. And you're basically just undermining my whole life. When I go home today, I live in an apartment with these people. They do all kinds of shit. I report it and yet nothing happens. But if I take out my trash, I get an eviction notice. And yet these people get to go about their business, say whatever they want, do whatever they want. My dogs have to wear a leash, even though my dogs do not pay attention to these people except for when they knock on the door. Meanwhile, they let their dogs run around everywhere, shit everywhere. And you keep telling me I got PTSD when it's not PTSD. So quit undermining. I might have it, you know, but as far as my whole desire to get out of this area, quit trying to come up with excuses to keep me here. I do not want to put up with this
But
area,
it's not,
and it's not healthy to be putting up with this area.
Well, we understand, but that's not, you don't.
And as far as driving, and where were you going with the driving and the PTSD? I love driving, hence the driver's license. I mean, you're talking about John Day, and then you start going into PTSD again.
oh, I remember when we first talked about this thing there, we were just talking about the feeling that there's discrimination in that county and
I've been to
that-
John Day. I've hung out in John Day. People didn't, you know, mostly at night I was on my way to Eugene. Between Baker and Eugene, John Day is a great place to talk for fuel and for food, hang out and then leave. And I've been to John Day enough times to know what John Day is like. I've drove around John Day. I've seen John Day with snow, summer, fall, wind, water. You know, I've hung out with people that live in John Day that were my age. And then I went to Eugene. And that was back in
So we're
2010.
we're still nowhere on identifying a plan for you, because your plan is, I want to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, but that could be an ultimate goal, but still my VR plan is to get a job. Just because my job would take place mostly in Baker, or not Baker, but Portland,
Yeah.
because why do I have to be put through this place some more just to have a plan when VR has relocated people, especially people with, I mean, come on, what's going on here?
Relocate people when they have the job. That's
Yeah,
when
and-
we kind of say,
and working
okay,
towards
you have
getting
a
the
job
job.
that starts on Monday.
We're gonna help you get there.
Yeah.
Right.
But we're not gonna pay you rent, we're not going, you know, we're gonna put you in a car and drive you down to Portland and, you know, help you transfer your HUD.
That's not something that that's out completely out of our jurisdiction, if you
And,
want to
and
say that.
caregiving is hard on you. I mean, you have to be able to transfer people, you have to be able to.
No. If they are looking for someone to help them transfer, that's the thing. You're assuming every single job requires that, when that's like saying that about every single job
Do you
available
wanna
right now.
work for white people out here? Do you wanna work for, you know,
Do I want to work for anyone in East? Why are we talking about Eastern Oregon? I mean,
Because
no.
my
I
office is
clearly
in Western
do not
Oregon.
want to be in Eastern Oregon.
If we're gonna help you though with the plan, I mean, we can't help you with the plan in Portland because our VR office is here, so.
But your office in Baker and the office here has helped people from this area to over there. And I keep hitting this wall because I still want to go
No,
to
you
there.
want somebody to help you move, that's not what we do. That's just not
It's
what
not
we
just
do.
help me move, it's more like when I signed that release form for HUD, it was to discuss all the things that I went through since moving in and to present. Not Section 8, because I've already discussed Section 8, because I already...
Do you have a contact out there? Somebody that you trust that knows sort of the situation best?
Tell them what the person I videotaped on camera then posted it on YouTube.
No, I mean somebody at HUD.
That's what I'm talking about.
What's their name?
I don't know. They retire like every other month now. I don't know who's running anything.
Well, because I was just gonna call and say, how do we help Nick get moved to Portland? How do we
I
do
mean,
this?
because I've already told them, I told them during that,
Transfer you to a VR office in Portland.
I told them during that meeting about that, like, you know what, not another place, not another here. I mean, like I said, we got tenants in there that are crazy, like mass shooter crazy, who own firearms, and they get to do damn near whatever they want. And as far as, you know, getting any assistance goes, as far as it being within the capabilities here, it's kind of known that it is, and if you read up on it on the internet, that you will see, you know, different, like, oh, well, I got help through HUD, they got me a house, or I went through this program here at DHS to rent, you know, start the whole rent-to-own thing. And even if it does come down to moving, which we've been over this before, even if I do all the little training classes and then get somebody to, you know, and still move. The whole talk with HUD was about the amazing amount of shit I go through daily, and those people seem to get away with it. Meanwhile, I can't go check my mail or go to take out the trash and whatnot, which, as like I said before, I mentioned the Section 8 thing, like I'd already crossed that bridge on my own a long time ago. Especially with the whole pack your shit and move speech that keeps getting handed out.
So do you feel like you,
My neighbors?
People who work at HUD,
Just say,
'Cause
pack
the-
your stuff and go. If you wanna
they say
go.
shit, actually.
pack your shit and go?
Yes, they do. They say
Okay.
that.
So do you feel like you've got enough experience and knowledge with how to deal with that HUD system, or do you feel like you need support, like she was asking about, do you need support talking to HUD?
And I mentioned it to her, that's what I signed the paper for.
Okay.
And they didn't, you didn't do it, I don't
Yeah,
know.
we-
You talked about Section 8, it's like, that's all you asked
We
about?
found out that your waiver was transferable. I think Fran did that too.
And then that's, and then,
He can take the Section 8 voucher that he has here. It can transfer to Portland, but he has to go to Portland for the orientation.
and I mentioned that because when I came to the meeting to hear how a talk happened about, like I said, the amazing amount of shit, like I said, go home, they can get called a nigger and they get away with it. It's like, dude, so what? I mean, I don't even have barbecues anymore because I've had tenants come over and kick my barbecue grill over. You know?
I'm just so sorry that you're
And
having
I'm just
that
saying, no, and it's
experience.
like, you know, with this amazing amount of stuff that I went through, not to mention, you know, between that, going to ELU and what, you know, it's not like I'm attracting bad stuff, it's more like this, I do not want to live here. And as far as having help, like I said, I can port my, when I do the orientation, let alone finish dealing with the stockers damage left over, because she's supposed to be getting garnished, but she has Social Security, so they can't just garnish Social Security. And that lady has not paid in a while. It's okay, they're gonna send her a letter telling her that she owes thousands and then they're gonna pay up. And so, I have to go through this, you know, as far as, you know, even if I did find a job, I'd probably start either 30 days or they could be like immediate need, I need you tomorrow. And would I be looking for immediate need? Or would I be looking for a job that I can get and then have that whole 30-day swing and then transfer over? And then asking for help for,
Then do you have to find the apartment down there once you get through after you do the orientation?
well, the thing
or
is
it there?
no, the thing is this, is if you do the orientation, and while you're in town, you take all your little training classes that you can, while you can afford the fuel there and then zip back,
That would be ideal.
well, that's the thing, and it's like, Fran didn't think I thought about that. It's like, well, why do you think I write these little lists of when all these classes are happening and all that stuff?
You can good talk of that stuff.
And
That's good.
yeah, we have no plan because I can't go to the classes or, you know, because the classes don't happen here. Like, I do not make the schedule for the classes, when they happen, where they happen, and what class. That is a person at DHS.
Do you have a contact at DHS with the ATV program that is kind of designed to coach you or mentor home care workers on how to navigate all that stuff? Is there somebody assigned to do that?
You could
Part of
pretty
your
much
job?
figure it out just by looking at it. I mean,
But you don't have
when we
someone-
opened up the page, it's self-explanatory.
But you don't have anybody that's working with you on that stuff?
Who
Um,
is your contact?
That, like a
Yeah.
contact person?
yeah, you too.
Oh, okay.
I
So
mean,
we're
you know,
talking about the different
because
program.
the
The
training,
ATV program.
the training for the home care worker stuff, those training classes.
Yeah,
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, is there somebody there that helps you with your license and your skills and your?
That would be the
referrals?
vocational rehabilitation worker that I work with. Oh, so that a judge told me I had to come work with anyways, just to, maintain my Social Security because of my PTSD, because of all the stuff that I went through. And then there's the back and the missing cartilage,
Right.
migraine that just,
Right, but,
it takes a lot to knock out for a little bit.
do you remember the website on the webpage? Is it just homecareworkers.?
I can't do that again because you have to call in every time to change your password, and I don't want to have to go through that with this phone.
Oh, I
All right,
understand.
that's okay. She just wanted to look it up, see if she could find it.
I mean, that's like asking, hey, can we call SEIU and see what they think about it? And then if I say, well, you can spend the night in the parking lot when we have our class tomorrow
Because you're in
morning.
the union, you're in that union.
Exactly, and
You have to pay union dues for that?
if you want to. But of course, with the home care thing, if you have a lot of certifications, you make more than $14 an hour. Yeah, and guess what? If you take enough classes, you can become a voc rehab worker. I didn't know that until like I said, you go on Facebook and it goes, you guys have a page that actually, if you click on it, it'll actually take you to how to be a vocational worker, which is so many certifications and so many little classes. And it's kind of strange because home care worker transfers into all sorts of stuff. Yeah, including social worker. So if you happen to have all sorts of experience in what life is, imagine the social worker you do.
I can't find anything.
Type in Oregon.
I'm just trying to find Google.com.
Gotta
I
get-
wonder if it's
I gotta get to my service dogs.
I get you.
It's
So,
it's 80 degrees outside, but it's 100. It's 100 in the car.
I'm just worried. Are they in the
No,
car?
no, they're not in the car. No, they're at home, but they've been there, and the tenants there like to stand in front of the door and sometimes beat on the walls to set them off just to, oh, your dogs bark a lot. Like, no, they don't.
They provoke them.
And to have that mentioned and gone into in great detail, because like I said, HUD doesn't just send me warnings, they send me eviction notices, which is a little strange that I get an instant eviction notice because, like I said, that's what this area is.
CSW new member, probably worker training unit. Course description, training unit,
Yep, click on training, see if they posted something new yet. Nope, they still haven't posted a new one. You already have that. Brand has it, or Dog has it, but I think that one already. Yeah. It shows all the classes, where the classes are happening, page 17, right?
I remember it.
July trainings and all that stuff, that's just there you go, there's the classes. Go back, that's the last page. But that's a whole month, and the thing
By
is,
the month.
yeah, that's by the month, see, that's July, that's last month. And it's gonna show you the month prior to that, which is June.
So we need to see
So,
upcoming.
And people have been requesting it online on Facebook, which is the thing, is because like I said, I mentioned Facebook earlier, the Healthcare Commission posts up on their Facebook page, just like DHS posts up on their Facebook page. Just
So
like-
you don't have the August training set?
No, I don't. I don't have the August or
So
September.
assuming that they're gonna repeat all these trainings, right?
You see the locations right there on
I
the
saw that
left.
PVT one.
Yeah,
That's the
there's a John Day,
Ontario.
there's a John Day class that's supposed to appear, I think it's either in this one,
LGBT and
Yeah.
DNT
And I mentioned the ones in Hermiston that were happening in July.
Yeah.
I mentioned in June, what was happening in June, and what's the closest nearby. Yeah. But you see how those classes all happen in a day, but let alone right there in the week.
Yeah.
Let's see. No, that would require a whole lot of lifting of the personal client. And if I did,
Challenging behavior, community practice, safety support. What were we looking for?
right? And here's the thing. Taking any of these, absolutely gotta have those classes. If you happen to be in town, why not take a couple other classes that happen to appear on the list? Like I said, that's why end of life, because I'm like, well, end of life seems to pop up a lot, along with, Alzheimer and dementia. And, if you just happen to look, you'll see it. And usually it's the lesbian, because we got Trump shouting all kinds of random things.
Yeah.
And then everybody else shouting, it's, and then out here, like I said, it's kind of like, people decide to get a little antsy about it.
Okay, report that we should record. Looking at professional health caregivers for time years and working together to make the most of the employer.
The thing is you want to look at the calendar and the magazine to see when most classes are happening, where they're happening. And that's why, that was that PDF that you were looking at before that page. And then, like I said, every month I get this little pad where I write down these classes, and that's what that is.
Okay,
A list of classes that happen to be happening in the same general area.
okay.
That'd be, whatever efficient and whatnot. And, getting it done would be actually doing the whole finding the job and going forward. But yeah, my dogs have been locked in the kennel for like too long. I don't want to clean. I don't like cleaning poop or.
And I'm not sure if you are or not.
No, this morning told me that there's a lot of files that he did not get, including some videos. Ted Wink.
Well, I keep trying to send him all your emails. I sent him emails that you sent to Michelle.
Yeah, he's already got those. He's already got those. I mean, like I said, to see you guys jump on fast food things, Flying J, and this job pays for retirement. The moment you clock on, you get retirement benefits.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a lot. I mean, seriously. And then the whole not wanting to live here is just a whole the shit I go through. So next time I come in here, let's not.
Do you want to send the permit to me again?
Check my schedule. I have a lot of stuff to do.
How would you like
Our
to do that?
requirements are that we meet with you once a month.
Yeah.
Email.
Want me to email you?
Email. Otherwise, you're gonna leave a message because I don't turn on the Wi-Fi every so often.
Can I give you, like, when I email you, I give you a couple of dates and times, just a couple of choices, and you can email back and let me know which one works?
Yep.
Does that work? Okay.
Yep, that's our friend did it, or someone did it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna email. You can click on the email date.
I want to try and get Ted to join us next time, because have you talked to him on the phone?
Yeah, I talked to him. That's how come he told me that the videos and a lot of the files and stuff, and we find out those never made it. Ted apparently did not know that I actually had a home care worker number. He knew about Flying J. He reads your emails. He knew about Flying J. He knew about the whole,
Because I was trying to connect with him, and I said, oh my gosh, I think Nick has a job interview.
And then he never knew
that you
This
had, that you were a
whole time,
vendor?
yeah, he knew everything, and that
Okay.
was a mess. I was, so long ago, like, he should have known that a long time ago.
Yeah.
And he said, I didn't know you had that. I'm like, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, got the whole SEIU thing and everything. And then the one for choice certification, because you can take that on the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think what would be good is, we can, touch base with Ted and see when he's available too, to try to coordinate our next meeting, and then I can email you with some dates and times. Okay.
There are a whole bunch of things I still wanted to say, and we didn't get time to do them today.
I know, but
Like,
I don't
if
like
you're
thinking
looking
about
at survival jobs and that phone is a problem, we want to help you get a phone that works for you. Because if somebody's calling you for a job interview or trying to get in touch with you, that's not, and even if you're doing the home care thing, those are little old people.
I can
Not
tell
all
you
of
that,
The thing is those people,
they're gonna need a good phone number.
the thing
need a
is,
phone.
I've reviewed a lot of people when I check in to do the home care worker thing, every 30 days, I usually do it every 10, sometimes every 15, or twice, three, 4 times
Well,
a
if you
month.
start
And
getting
the
calls,
thing is, like I said, everyone was the email number, not a phone number. Every one of these calls was the email number, specifically an email number.
But Nick, I can tell you that most employers don't want to call you and not email you.
And they
don't
want
wanna leave you a
an
message.
email, that's how come I'm telling you, they list the email.
Oh.
Like, we looked at it last time, before I could change the password after access to make the list computer. Yeah, I get messages from people whenever someone logs in or tries to log in, you know, those, now these email addresses got stolen, I get a little pop-up and tell me that change my, well, said already so many times about how these people will see email and suddenly you see a phone number, it's always email me, I mean, what the fuck do I keep saying email?
It's fine,
I
we
mean, I
hear
know
you.
how to read an email address over a phone address. And they list email addresses throughout the whole entire contact list for people, jobs wanting list.
but if
Yeah.
somebody is going to want to
Contact
call
me
you and
and-
say, can you come work for
The
me?
thing is if they want to call me to interview me, they would have listed their phone number. And yet they listed an email address. And you keep fighting the fact that they listed an email address. It is really annoying.
I don't believe it. But
And yet,
I'll
no,
go
and then
talk
we
to-
look
I'll
at
go
we
and
look
talk
at
to APB and they'll tell me the same thing you did, but
They
I
probably
just.
will.
and we look
But
at
if
it,
you
it's
apply
like
for
this
a
thing
survival
again.
job, if you're gonna apply for survival job, you need a phone.
And even if I did apply for a survival job, as I went in before, would you work at McDonald's in Portland? Yeah, because I'm not in this area. Even though, why the hell are you asking if you're trying to talk to a 33-year-old person if you're working for Wendy's here? I
We
mean, it's
didn't
like,
try to talk to you, it's fine, Jay.
this was frowned on.
Okay.
And then you have to show up and then,
I think it's a great idea personally, but that's just me. I just
Right.
think a job's a job, and
Right.
it's easier to get a job than to have a job. That's what my parents drilled into my soul.
right,
Don't quit your job until you have another job.
exactly. And speaking of drill, the doctor that fixed the fracture used a drill and a very big hammer to shatter the rest of my jaw, put the pin in, which was originally a plate. And then it got dented because I sleep on my face.
And I want you to get mental health
And
support for
as
that.
far as the
PTSD
support,
stuff.
it's not PTSD. I
You
want the
said
fuck
it
out of
is.
here.
When
I
I
mean,
say
I've been
drill,
here,
you
I've been
say
here
drill.
long enough
I
trying to do
think-
the same thing, let
Right.
alone when, the whole, you're being actually physically, hit.
I love you,
Every other
Nick.
day.
I do. I just love you.
I bet you do. It's not funny.
It's not funny.
And
I
yet you're
just
smiling and you're giggling about this.
Because I want to shake your hand and I
And
want
I
to
don't
let
want to
you
shake
get
your
out of
hand
here.
because this is another month I won't take really enough here. And, no. And you on the same thing again. But hey, I don't want to talk poop on
We're
my
not,
bucket
okay.
time.
I will shake
I'll
your
email
hand.
you about another appointment. Well, by text.
every fucking time. Waste of drive, wasted gas to come up here to go to a meeting. Hell, I didn't even have to take out the camera. I just don't even care. I'm abandoning this fucking area. He's gonna talk me into fucking more of this fucking place. Got a hostile ass fucking home. Portland, homelessness, here I fucking come.